blaming them. I think what is happening is ignorance sometimes can be a serious issue. And I made it very clear, because they are unskilled and semi-skilled, not well versed in the knowledge of Islam, so whatever they see, forget interacting, whatever they see in the Middle East becomes authentic. So if they see that the Imam, praying, the dua that the Imam does after the prayers is not performed in the Middle East, they take that to be the normal way of praying. So now in Bangladesh, you will find that during the Eid and all, they don't wait, they just start, working. And that was not there when I was a child. It was not there, because in the Sunni tradition, you need to respect the elders. That's what makes you Sunni, because you're respecting the tradition. Now you don't see people who start just after the prayer. They'll not wait for the dua, because they think that's not the correct way of performing prayer. So you can go minutely and pinpoint to that. But I'm not blaming them. What I'm trying to say, sometimes ignorance can have an effect. And those who are religious ulemas, they got infected in a big way. To the point that every Eid, there is a serious fight between whether the moon has been sighted or not. Okay, so in Chittagong, in Kumilla, they literally have a different Eid altogether, because they try to link up with Saudi Arabia. Now, just because you raised the issue, and I want to clarify and I want to make it very clear, well, this was a anti-terrorism kind of a workshop where over 100 ulemas was there, organized by Iftivai's colleague Farooq Subhan in Bangladesh Enterprise Institute. And so Farooq said, okay, because you know a little bit of Islam, so why don't you preside this particular session? So I said, fine, no problem. So there's 100 ulemas, and I pointed out that do you know why this moon sighting is so important, and why? So they had no knowledge about it. The ulemas had no knowledge why the moon sighting is so important. You see, it's very important for the Hanafis. Why? When Abu Hanifa, there are those who are not familiar. In the Sunni, there are four schools of thought, four mazhabs. You have the Hanafi, you have the Maliki, you have the Shafi, and you have the Hanbali. Each of them named after a person. So the only one, the first one, Hanafi, the Abu Hanifa, he's the only one who is non-Arab. The rest are Arabs. He's Persian. Abu Hanifa was born in Kufa, which is currently Iraq. Now, Abu Hanifa, when asked that, do we have to see the moon for this thing? Yes, you have to. The moon sighting is a must. The reason was simple, because by the time the camel could come from Saudi Arabia to say the moon has been sighted in Saudi Arabia, the moon would change. It took a month. So when I was narrating this, one of the ulemas got up and said, "Sir, Professor, now we have a mobile phone. So, when it is sighted in Saudi Arabia, they can tell us, and we can then have Eid in one go in entire world together." I said, look, I will go with you, provided you go and do the same thing on the Fajr prayer. When the morning prayer takes place in Saudi Arabia, you also do the. He says, no, Professor, we can't do that. I said, if you can't do that, why are you insisting on doing that? I said, the divine created us differently. Difference is normal, okay? And conformities are normal. And they understood. And then I said to them, this is interesting, 100 ulemas, I said, look, let me give you one, what you call a problem that you start working now. And say, look, 30 years from now, 25 to 30 years from now, people would start living on the moon, and there will be one or two Muslims there. What will happen to Eid for them? Will they call you back to know whether the moon has been sighted? I say the same thing in Colombo with the Buddhists, because Buddhists, as you know, they have this full moon. I say, and Buddhist monks were equally horrified. He said, oh my God, we have to think. And these ulemas, when I left the place, they stood by line and they shook hands with me, saying that you've given us a serious problem to work. I said, Islam is not going to collapse. Christianity did not collapse just because Galileo and Copernicus said that the sun is at the center. You will use istihad, reason, and you get away. Resolving that. So my argument would be that it has infected very seriously, and one can look at the diasporic point to see the changes.
Can we move to Dr. D'Souza, Shanti D'Souza?
Just an